Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Mark's working late tonight, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Thursday. We're getting there, we're getting there. So, hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is safe. It's been, in the US, it's been, you know how it is. Um, Mark and I are safe. Thank you. A couple people had asked. We are okay of the multiplying crises that are going on here. We're hours from DC. We don't live in a particularly hostile city where people march into buildings and stuff. And COVID is still going on. Of course, the numbers in Pennsylvania aren't great. We just had our first case of that rapidly spreading strain of COVID, but Mark and I are still working. He's still working out of the home. I'm still working from home. So we've been fortunate on that end. And like, we don't have a choice. Life just keeps going. It's different every day. Some days are better than others. So it's Thursday. Every Thursday for almost the last year, we have spent time discussing Cynthia Beaumont. A lot of time. And I'm kind of, this is going to sound conceited or rude or like whatever. I'm kind of proud of the work I did on the caretaking series for a few reasons, and kind of for the Foodie Beauty series as well. Preparing for a video that I do is very different than the preparation Mark does for a video, usually. Mark does more of the hands-on things, so you'll see the camera moving around the house, and you'll see him picking up materials, crafting, pulling the camera down so you can see. Mark's videos are more interactive and more moving around. Mine tend to be more talking. So if all I'm going to do is talk, I better damn well have something interesting to say, right? I mean, that makes perfect sense. So when I was talking about Cynthia, it's a topic a lot of people are interested in, and they have no room to talk about it except a few hate sites. And so they would come here, and they would watch, and they would share their voices and their opinions here. Now, Cynthia is not dead to me. I do still follow. I think some news will be coming down the pike today, but I won't be making a whole video about it because it was not. I explained this, I think, during the canceled episode last week. It just doesn't feel good to me anymore to do it. It's really far away now from what the original premise of the series was. Now I'm just kind of following her channel, and it's like a continuous train wreck of unbelievable nonsense. So I felt I could use my time doing something better or something different. Not taking the high road here, mind you. Those videos are up and they're monetized. I am no saint. I would take them down if forced or suggested, but they are still there. I am Chantal on a diet, not taking down her mukbangs. That's where we are. So going forward, what are we going to do on a Thursday? What do we do? Now, I will tell you straight up, I feel enormous pressure to produce content that got the same views as those Cynthia videos because Mark and I have a smaller channel. And when we produce content where it's not a review or a discussion like Foodie Beauty or Cynthia, our views hover in 400 to 800 views per video, sometimes 1,000 on something that we produce just ourselves. The reviews get 2 to 3 times that. So I feel like I have to make something unbelievably interesting, bizarre, catchy, something that'll make them think, something that'll go so viral it's on HLN. That's a lot of pressure, I feel. So I was thinking, well, where am I going to get content ideas from? Where are they going to go? So I thought back about our channel and where it started. The channel started in 2017, I think. I've had a YouTube account since 2013, so if you go to our channel, you'll see that the account's been a while. And I was like, okay, what was originally weight loss content? Now, there's never a bad time for weight loss content. It's flooded right now because it's the first of the year and everyone's getting skinny, and we'll see if they make it to February. Some folks will, some folks do, which is good. But I've done that a lot. I'm currently in the process of revamping my eating plan. I'm only about 4 or 5 days in and trying to lose some weight. But that's interesting to some, not to others. So, I had a lot of mental health content that I had done as well in the past, that I had done by myself, with Mark when Mark came on, but by myself. It's something I know a lot about. I have personal experience with it. I have experience with friends and family members. I have experience working with people who have really challenging symptoms and have a hard time functioning in the world. I have experience working with people who have those symptoms, who've come into recovery and resumed normal life. Those stories are great. They're uplifting. The work I do is very fulfilling. So I have insight on mental health concerns, and I've shared some of those as well. I have my own. In case you haven't been paying attention for the last God knows how many years, I have bipolar disorder, bipolar 1. And it's mostly in remission. I have flare-ups, like any other illness that's, chronic. And when I'm sick, I deal with being sick. Most of the time, I'm fine. I was in the hospital earlier this year. Last year, Christ. February, right before COVID hit. I was having a really hard time, and I was in an inpatient psych unit for about 4 or 5 days. Just get a retool the meds, get my shit together, and then rejoin the living. And I was able to do that. So I have insight into the systems of that stuff, too. Drug and alcohol I know quite a bit about. I was not to put too fine a point on it, a lecherous drunk. That's not who I am now, but it's interesting to go from that to where I am now, because a lot of little shit happened along the way. Some of it terrifying, some of it sad, some of it really uplifting, all that kind of stuff. So I know about that kind of stuff. So that's the things that are in my wheelhouse. Oh, I know a lot about infomercials and a little bit about cooking. Build an audience around that. So that was, things I knew about and past content I had done. There was cooking, there was what I ate in a day, mental health videos, a couple on addiction. I did one. Some were rather personal. I did one on my previous attempts at completing, here goes monetization, suicide. And then there was another one about sexual assault. When the Me Too movement was going around, I had done a video, rather candid. It's the only one I ever really thought about taking down or at least editing, about my own experience being sexually assaulted. So I had that video up as well. So there's some really personal stuff too. So that was the old content. And then I'm looking at current content that we're making, which is primarily been seasonal for the last 3 months. It was Halloween, and then it was Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas. You'll notice right now we are in a period of transition. Now, I didn't help put up the decorations, but you can damn well believe I helped take them down. That village was gone in like 15 minutes. I love Mark. I love that he decorates our home. We'd be living in a box with mattresses on the floor and a TV in the corner if it was up to me, because I'm so minimalist that I would think it's unnecessary to have a couch. So I enjoy a lovely home that Mark decorates. However, when Christmas is over, it's over. And I'm happy to help take the whole set down. So that's what we've been doing lately. So then I scoured the landscape. I'm like, what are other people doing? Because YouTube has a kind of, what's the next guy doing, and how can I do the same thing with a spin on it and make it my own? Because if they're doing something popular, maybe I can try it and replicate and make it bigger. So this is more on the side of like getting views rather than producing quality content, and trying to meet in the middle and do both. I'm more concerned with the quality of the content because this isn't Mark and I's like full-time job. We support ourselves through our employment, and this is more of an outlet for us than anything. So I don't know. Well, you're here, so I guess we'll put a little bit out to you. I'm not a huge fan of content fishing, but based on the things you've seen on our channel, what you've liked and what you didn't, the previous segments that we've had on our channel, again digging into the past, there's others that we've done that have disappeared due to either lack of interest, we didn't catch on to it, they didn't get a lot of views. I'm thinking like the Ask It Basket, which was one of them. We had done Wacky Wednesdays. There was a few other ones that were themed that didn't really take off, didn't go anywhere. They weren't getting any more views than other ones, and we just kind of squashed them. So I wasn't really sure putting a Thursday together where I'm the only person on it, and I don't have a single theme for the day of the week. I thought, do I need one? Like, Mark has Mondays with Mark. It's just Mark. And it's whatever Mark is doing. Mark is kind of the center of the video. And what he's doing is, crafting, or he's cooking, or he's this, or he's that. But people come, I think, probably to see him and see whatever he's doing. Will people come to see me and whatever I'm talking about? Ugh. It depends what I'm talking about. I mentioned the few things I know about. The few people I'm watching right now and what they're doing. I still watch reactors a lot. Lately, I've been into, obviously, Ms. Huzzy, who I like. Got away from YouTube Underground for no particular reason. Got away from Life by Jen for no particular reason. Just their content wasn't as interesting as of late. I'll probably go back. It's like reading an old book. I'll go back and look at their content again. Also been watching a lot of Roger Brown, Not watching Cynthia. Just keeping tabs through friends. Um, and I'm like, well, what are they doing? Okay, weight loss content and reviews. Okay, I wasn't looking to pick up another review. There were some folks who suggested maybe Amber Lynn could take the place of Cynthia, and I could do a review or a reaction to another creator, possibly. And people had suggested a few. I think Glenda Sully was a suggestion. There were some other folks that were. And it's not necessarily the doing of that. When I started doing Cynthia, I had been watching her for a couple years. I knew the backstory. So when I started making videos about her, I had a good chunk of her history. Stuff with family. Things like that. Thought there was a knock at the door. So I had what was going on. If I were to dive in cold right now into Amber Lynn Reed's life, there is so much drama, backstory, bullshit, who knows what the truth was, a wake of girlfriends, and profound disability that's being totally denied. I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't. I've talked about Amber Lynn Reed in like 2 videos. One, when she was going to get a psychiatrist, which I knew was absolute crap, and it only intersected with my interest in mental health, and I talked about it. And then there was another, I think, where I compared her and Chantal. And I think at the end of that, I ended up saying I like Chantal more, which, pick your poison. Do you want to get stabbed or hung? It's whatever. So reviewing another person wasn't something I was necessarily looking to get into. Not opposed to. I'm never saying never, really, with any of these things. I just don't... I don't know. The other option... So the reviews were on the table. The old content is still kind of on the table. And then trying something different, a la Mondays with Mark. So I would be doing something different every week, based on something I'm interested in, or you guys would be interested in that I would do. Now, as you know, Mark and I are very different people. You will probably not see me with a glue gun. Okay? You will probably not see me making candles or anything like that. My interests are very different. And they're kind of obscure, and I would like to think quirky rather than weird or insane, but I've been all of those. I watch crap on YouTube. I love infomercials. Occasionally I like infomercial products. I play video games. I have smaller interests. I cook. Obviously, I like to cook. Mark is a chef. He's trained. He knows how to do stuff. He tries to make recipes here for the home cook for me. I'm entirely self-taught. I would never call myself a chef. But I like playing Chopped, like open the cupboards and see what there is to cook, and then you get 5 ingredients and make it work. Kind of like the Dollar Tree split pea soup that we had made during the Dollar Tree Christmas video. Something a little more challenging. You have this and this and this, make food. So that's the kind of cooking that I like to do. It's different than making an every plate box or following a recipe or Mark sharing something he's made for 20 years. Mine's a little more haphazard. I lived a much more bachelor lifestyle when I lived alone than I do now with Mark. My home did not look like this. My kitchen did not look like that. It was never full. I only used the stove to light cigarettes. I did not use it for much else. I had a microwave, and I would leave things out on the stove overnight and figure if I just reboil it, I could eat it the next day, like soup. I was also kind of not so well at the time. But I left my clothes out, ironed when needed, bought wrinkle-free everything, Febreze all over the place. I lived like a rather sloppy bachelor, I would say. So I didn't, I don't have collections of Hummels. I'm just not that guy. I don't have collections of houses. It's just not me. I love that Mark does, because we complement each other pretty well. But I don't know. Relationships, that's something else that I have some experience with, good and bad. It's another topic that doesn't come up too much on the channel. I know when you go into relationships, intimate encounters, sex, things like that, it's uncomfortable, but provocative, and a lesson, but some people just don't want to hear about it either. You can't please everybody, but it's another area that I know quite a bit about. I had a rather active youth. And the point is not to tell sex stories, if I were to talk about it. The point would be What was going on in my mind when I was doing it? How was I feeling about myself? What was going on? I have quite a few of those stories, not just about sex, that go on throughout my life. Um, Choices I made, decisions I made that were good, that were bad, and what was going through my head at the time. Things like missed opportunities, things like where I struck where the iron was hot, it went through. I've had a rather interesting life, depending on who you ask, of course. And that's something I would like to share. I've shared in bits and pieces across different videos. You know, there's a mental health video talks about me being in the hospital, and then Mark and I met in rehab, so we talked about that a little bit. Um, but all the time in between, I was still living. There were still gaps of time in the middle where I was sort of trying to have a life. And like I said, some of those stories are interesting and some of those stories are sad and some I would hope would be inspirational. And those are something I actually am interested in sharing. I'm not sure in what capacity, though. I don't know if it would be like a series. I don't know if that would be the theme of Thursday. Have like story time. I could pull a total Chantal and we could do dinner and a story, mukbang and a story. I don't know how you pair food with stories about rehab. Um, but, you know, and it wouldn't necessarily just be about drugs, alcohol, and mental health, because that's not everybody's story. If you are subscribed to our channel, you're familiar with those issues, probably, or you've learned maybe a little bit about it from us. Uh, but more so that, you know, I'm a person that went through those things. Not that those things exist necessarily, not that mental illness and addiction exist, and look how far I've come, and baby, look at me now, because that's not how it works. But just to share some moments along the way, some teaching moments that happened to me along the way, because I'm extremely stubborn, prone to thinking I'm right, and when cornered and feeling insecure, become totally superior and smug. Totally superior and smug. So I would like to have an outlet to talk about those different kind of experiences and stories that went along the way. It would take, people always say when you have had a hard life, whether you did it to yourself or not, you should write a book. Your stories, that means they want you to shut up and stop talking, usually. When they say you should write a book, it means I don't want to hear the rest of this story. It's boring. But YouTube, I can just tell the stories bit by bit, piece by piece, not in chronological order or anything. So that's the closest thing to an idea that I have, that I've come up with, that I'd like to share with you guys. Little pieces, not proper vignettes like Mark's been using, but some bits and pieces, some story times from youth to adulthood that were teaching experiences, places where I screwed up really bad and learned nothing, and places where I screwed up really bad and got a little better, places where people in the most unlikely of places helped me. You know, when you figure out that your probation officer helped save your life, it's, you know, you think it would be, of all the people that I had interactions with, all the trained professionals and people in recovery, and then all of a sudden my PO officer, who I had a lukewarm relationship with, came to my, you know, things like that that came up. Help coming out of the most unlikely of places at just the right time. Things like that. Finding my way through recovery with not being exactly a believer. That's challenging in its own way. So talking about all those little things broken up and giving each attention was the kind of the idea that I had for sharing on Thursdays. You know it's me, though. So are these heavy topics? Yeah, a little bit. I don't do trigger warnings because, you know, we're grown and I mark the videos not appropriate for 18 and under. But, you know, it's what I know about. It's what I like to share about. I think it's helpful to people to hear about too. So there's like a little bit of a maybe a noble component to it. But I'm also Steve. And I'm a little sarcastic. And I have a dark sense of humor. And that's just how I look at things. It helps me keep a sense of sanity, to have a kind of an absurd way of looking at the world, and it kind of helps me put my own sanity in context as well, and to have more of a lighter look at things, and to look back at my previous actions and behaviors and challenges and triumphs and all the stuff that goes with it, and to think, what the hell was I thinking? You know, and to be easier on myself now because I've learned a bit and I've gone a bit forward. So that's something I would like to share. So that is my only idea, but I'm not married to the idea of sharing, well, like I said, sharing experiences from along my life journey and elaborating on them a little bit, and, you know, some funny, some sad, some whatever, but just to get to know me even a little bit more. And I would invite people to share their stories in the comment section once the videos would be starting to roll. Because one of the good things about Smokey, Steve, and Marc as the channel, our viewers, you guys, talk to each other in the comment section. When we open up the chat on Sundays, when we do a chat at like 6, people come in and talk to each other and not to us. I like that. That says community to me. You know, that says people have connected under, you know, by both watching our content, and now they have other people to talk to. Now they have other networks and connections. Because some folks on YouTube, you know, it's a lonely place on the other side of the screen sometimes. You know, this seems all nice and chipper, but I'm sitting on the other end of a phone with a TV on mute and a Christmas tree that's demanding to be taken down. Well, I'm demanding it be taken down. So those are my thoughts. That was a lot of thoughts, and they were a little disjointed. But I'm a little disjointed today, so this is how this was going to go, I think. So feel free absolutely to leave comments, thoughts below about what you think could be a good idea. If the idea that I have about doing story times every week, personal story times every week, let me know if you think that's a good idea or a bad idea. If you want it mixed up, I'm all ears. So I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm definitely open to other ideas. I'm not married to it. It's not going to hurt my feelings if you say you don't like that. So be honest, let me know, and we'll decide what we want to talk about on Thursdays. Does that sound good? I think it sounds okay to me. Again, I can take a few blows if you don't think what I want to do works. But please have suggestions to replace that as well. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button and the bell on your way out so you get all the alerts too. You can follow Marc and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Twitter. Our handle is at SmokeySteveA. Our email address and our contact information is also all listed down below. Thank you again, and we will catch up with all of you tomorrow, which is Friday. So have a good Thursday. Be well. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.